can't hold it much longer. Gotta let go so I can be free.
Happy Monday, people. Josh Harrison is here. Let's go. 2 former Pirates. Wow. 2 former Pirates on the show. We're going to have to start the show off with some Pirates talk. Yes, thank you. But Jay, hey, great to see you, man. You've been having fun on Bucko territory?
Oh, yeah, man. It's been a blast. Kept me in the game, and, it's always good to keep up with your former team and, see how the city's been doing.
Yeah, and it's been a better year to cover the team than the last several years. So it's been exciting. We're going to get into them coming up in just a moment. Before we do, it was Father's Day yesterday, so happy Father's Day to both of you. This was my favorite tweet, Kratz, from the weekend. C.J. Abrams had a home run in each game over the weekend for the Nationals, and he was hanging out with his dad. So this is Spencer Nussbaum, who was just on the show the other day last week, and he's part of district territory on the FT network. He said this was at the time when he hit his second on the weekend. He hit another one the next day, but Nussbaum tweeted, "That is back-to-back games with a home run for C.J. Abrams, who seems empowered by the Father's Day trip. He and his dad have a little foam bat in the hotel room, and they were taking BP in the room. Asked if it might have helped him. Abrams said it might have." And then again, he homered the next day. So people were joking they're going to have to take that foam bat around, and he's going to have to do hotel room BP before or after every single game, because clearly that's working for him. Kratz, I love those stories.
Jay, hey, tell me you're not wrong. If a man gets 2 homers, there's one other person on the team that bought a foam bat and is just at least like getting somebody to flip some balls to him. No?
Oh, for sure. And it was a dad's trip. Somebody said, "Hey, Pops, I'm going to send a clubby to go to Kroger, Walmart, something." Hey, it's hand-eye coordination, man. Keep it simple.
100%. Learn from the best. You learn. You go back to like what brought you into the game, like a foam bat. Hey, Dad, roll it on the ground to me. I might need to. And you get right. You feel good. Get a haircut. You feel good. Dad comes in. You feel good. Whatever it takes to hit dingers.
Mm-hmm. Feel good, play good. I like that a lot. Okay, let's dive in.
Charging the mound.
Yeah, we're going to start with the Pirates and get a check on where they're at with Jay Hay here. So they dropped a series in Colorado. That's not what you want. It's the worst team in the National League. They have played much better than last year. But, I mean, these are some games, Jay Hay, where it's like bases loaded. You've got opportunities in the 9th inning, and they're not coming through against one of the worst teams in baseball. We also had the runners interference play, which we can get into. That's Billy Cook, who was running from second to third, knocks the glove of Kairos for Colorado, and that turns into what would have been a run to tie the game, instead an out. So your thoughts on this weekend set for the Pirates and what they look like going forward? I know that they have significant bullpen issues, but does it look like this team has a chance to get through a somewhat difficult National League wildcard picture and be a real contender, at least through the season? I'm not even saying can they make the playoffs. Like, can they stay in this race and be within a couple games in September?
Man, looking at this weekend, obviously you go to Colorado. Kratzy, correct me if I'm wrong, man. That's one trip that every hitter has circled. Going to Coors Field. Oh man, I'm looking forward to just missing one and being rewarded offensively. But man, they've been going through a little rough patch. As a whole. You mentioned relief pitching. As a whole lately, at one point starting pitchers had a little struggle, and then you couple that with not playing that great of defense and having some injuries to some key guys, you expect to have some hardship. But as you mentioned, man, they're still in the thick of it in a wild card. Here we are in mid June. All you can ask for, especially when you're missing some key guys, is to keep your head above water. And how the season started for these guys with the energy that PNC Braun from opening day to Connor Griffin making his debut, and them getting off to a good start. There's a lot of energy that's around PNC and Pittsburgh that hasn't been felt in a long time. But as I said, here they are in the middle of June, kind of in the middle of things where, on the outside looking in, but still, within striking range. I think more than anything, they're looking to get their guys healthy. And as those guys come back, you still want to be in the thick of things, because as that happens, you have an opportunity to say, hey, we're looking to add. But with that, you have to go into Colorado, like teams against Colorado, you have to win those series, because, it's only going to get harder and harder as the season goes. So looking at this weekend, definitely some disappointing losses on their end. You mentioned the second game, what they would call a controversial call. That's baseball, but they've had a lot of losses this year that they probably could have prevented. And obviously, in these moments, they get magnified because you're getting closer to a trade deadline, and things are starting to shape up. So every win, every loss is going to be magnified that much more. But they all count the same in my book.
All right, Jay, hey, first of all, Daniel McCutchen is not pitching on the mound. This is not a Lugo play at the plate. Okay, this is not the situation. This is a team that is ready to make the playoffs. But all those things you mentioned were highs. Connor Griffin, opening day. We have all these new signings. Paul Skeens is still around. Then Connor Griffin gets called up. Then you have a little, some Pittsburgh magic. When the adrenaline wears off, or when the magic wears off, what kind of team do they have? They have a team that should play good defense, but they sacrifice that a little bit for offense. They should pitch really well. I think their starting pitching has improved, and they should find somebody in the bullpen to be able to make these leads that they do get hold up. But the reality is, it seems like a little bit of their adrenaline's worn off. Paul Skeens, I think his last 5 outings, they haven't won, and he's given up
7.
less than 2 runs in each.
Yes,
7
say
outings.
7.
I'm sorry, 7 outings. And so that kind of thing, you need these guys to step up. You need the guys who you signed to step up. O'Hearn's now back and healthy. You need Brian Reynolds to be the guy that I think he should be the best hitter on the team consistently. And I think this is where this will be the make or break. The rate at 500, make or break. What way do you want to go when you react to losing to a team in Colorado? I would have said on Friday, hey, this is a huge series. Let's go in there, win 2, most likely 3 from Colorado. It went the opposite way. So now how do you react? How do you make the adjustment? And it has to happen right now. You can't wait for it to happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Reynolds has been really good, by the way.
Yeah,
He's
he's been having a good year for sure.
top 20 in OPS on the season after last year being below average by OPS plus by league standards there. So I mean, he's definitely been the best bat on the team. I guess you could probably put Brandon Lau second
Wow.
there, right? Yeah, and of course they're missing Cruz, who had some really good moments, but I don't know what the timetable is for him. The offense hasn't really been the problem, but yeah, you can't go 7 starts where they're losing skiing starts. You can't have the bullpen issues. And then I mentioned this and I looked it up specifically because I was popping in and out of games, watching them over the weekend. Friday, bases loaded, down a run, strikeout, double play. Saturday, bases loaded, 1 out, down a run, strikeout, and then the interference play. And technically, I know that they were a little pissed, Jay Hay, but the umps got it right. They didn't make the call initially, but then they got together and they made the right call. I mean, there was contact with Karras's glove. That's it. That's interference right there. So maybe he just wanted to make sure someone else saw it too. And it's tough to catch that. If you look at it first blush live, even on TV, right? You don't really see it. And then the replay is clear.
Well, typically you'll see, a collision, not necessarily a collision, but you'll see something where arms or a foot where a guy jumped out the way. It was so, minute that, he kind of impeded the ball, but at the same time was trying to get around. And Karros also as a third baseman is charging that ball like, hey, I got to do a do or die play. And I don't think Karros was, doing that play to try to get an interference, but he was also like, if I hesitate, I'm gonna get this in between hop. And what happened is just a situation where, I mean, it's one of those things I mean, baseball's going on. How long you haven't seen this play happen to where a guy actually ends the game this way? Usually the ball will hit a runner. These are things that, as you mentioned, they still had opportunity to win the game before that moment. So when we're talking a Pirates scheme 7 starts, I think a lot of it honestly has been some defensive miscues, not having, some timely hitting. And, when you're not winning your starts of a guy that's your horse like that, I mean, what is that saying about the other 4 starters that, may not be a guy that you pretty much are saying is an automatic win. And I think you got a team that's still learning how to win. You got these pieces that came in and, have shown how to, go about the business every day, but there's still a thing about Kratz. You understand showing up every day and learning how to win these close games. in these moments. And I think what you're seeing is a team that is still trying to find how to win those games in those moments.
I think they have a shot. I still think they're in this thing. I really do.
Yeah, I would agree with you. They're just in their rough stretch. They've lost 10 of 15. They need to get bullpen help ASAP. And the reason why they can before the trade deadline, but this is big, Kratz, because this does happen every year. They can dangle something that actually has a deadline to it. I think we talked about it with Ken last week. I don't remember if I read it or we talked to Ken about it or both, but they have the 34th overall pick. That's a comp pick that they're able to trade. You have to trade it before the draft, though. So that's significant. Well, I mean, it's a few weeks, right? 2 weeks before the actual trade deadline. So they need to get that done. And the comp was Brian Baker from the Orioles to the Rays, and they give up a comp pick. So you can get a controllable reliever, or I don't think you're going to get a rental because I think teams will hold off on the top, 2 or 3 high leverage arms, but they could get somebody pretty valuable that they can maybe control for another couple years. So I'm sure they're shopping that right now, and they need that kind of help ASAP. It's just the prices stay high right now while so many teams are in it. Good ball talk. Let's get to a lot more on the trade front. Bob Nightengale released his Sunday notes. We'll talk to him about it coming up.
When my puppy Bella has something wrong, I'm not going to go around Googling what to do.
Yeah, Kratz, let's have a better plan. Today's episode is sponsored by the ASPCA Pet Health Insurance Program. It offers customizable accident and illness plans that can fit your budget, your lifestyle, and even your pet's particular quirks. Because let's be honest, vet bills can add up fast. ASPCA Pet Health Insurance has been around for almost 30 years and has covered over 1 million pets. And when it's time to submit a claim, it's easy. Just use their app and receive reimbursement for eligible vet bills directly into your bank account so you can get back to focusing on what really matters, your pet. To explore coverage, visit aspcapetinsurance.com/foul. That's aspcapetinsurance.com/foul. Again, that's aspcapetinsurance.com/foul. This is a paid advertisement. Insurance is underwritten by either Independent American Insurance Company or United States Fire Insurance Company and produced by PTZ Insurance Agency Limited. The ASPCA is not an insurer and is not engaged in the business of insurance. Hey, a little home run derby news. We're going to start to get that leading into All-Star festivities. Yordan Alvarez is a no for the home run derby. I don't know if he got an official invite. It doesn't matter. He would have said no. He is one of the best hitters in baseball, one of the best power hitters in the game. He missed a good chunk of last year. Kratz, no surprise. I did not expect him to participate. I know it sucks, but I did not expect him to participate.
I want to see it. Although it might be boring. He might just keep hitting him. He might go 20 for 20, and everyone else will just be like, I guess I'm not trying. He's such a good hitter. Oh well. It's fine. I'm not mad. There's plenty of other good hitters.
There are.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. I agree with you. Especially with the new rules too. He definitely might have gone 20 for 20. So while you might want to see guys like that, at the same time, health is priority, and if I'm sure he's got a valid reason, and it sucks, but as you said, there's other guys out there that can fill in.
Anyone real quick that you guys are thinking about that you definitely want to see in the Derby this year?
I'll go first. I would like to see Junior Caminero. It's easy to him, like easy pop watching him. So I think I'd like to see him.
He was in last year, right?
Wants to be in. Yeah, and he wants to be said on the show. He's like, I want to win it. He also wants that $1 million. I like the hungry dudes that want the million. Obviously, Schwarber. I feel like O'Neal Cruz hit one so far last year that you just have to have him in.
But he's not going to be. He's not going to be healthy. Yeah.
No,
I get it. But I want to see the
Schwarber and Bryce.
That's what I want.
Yeah, they're both going to do it. I have to imagine.
Bryce for sure.
Tis the season. Bob Nightengale, USA Today, and FT Insider joining us right now. Bob, great to have you back on here. And let's get right to the headliner, Tarik Skubal, and a team that you might be hearing a little bit more about than some expect, the Atlanta Braves. What do you think are the chances that the Braves and Alex Anthopoulos actually push enough chips across the table to convince Detroit?
I think they got a legitimate chance, and I think they need him more than most teams. Let's face it, the Dodgers don't need him, and they're doing just quite well without him. They got Glasnow's coming back, like Snell's coming back. The Yankees, they don't need him. They got Max Fried coming back. Both teams be luxury. That way, it's wide open. The Brewers keep kind of poo-pooing it, like, let's see, we don't really do that. I don't think the price tag is going to be as high as people think. That's why I think Atlanta will kind of lay low in the weeds here and have a good chance of anybody to grab this guy. I think you put him on Atlanta's team, they got a chance to win it all.
Massive. But where do you feel like Atlanta would push because of payroll quote restrictions? They would want to like buy down some of that money and send more prospects. Do you think they would send big league ready pieces to the Tigers?
When they get enough in the farm system, I don't think it require buying down. They got plenty of money. They're well below the luxury tax threshold anyway, and they make a mint in the battery, so money should be no problem to them. As much money as these guys make. So no, I just think it's a matter of okay, what prospects will it take? And let's face it, I mean, if they're in the World Series, all of a sudden you're making a ton of money, and very unlikely they would sign him. But obviously, if Skubal's there for a couple of months, then he's got to read in the organization, whether he likes it or not. I know lives in Phoenix in the off season. They obviously Atlanta trains in Florida, but I think it might open his eyes. Like if they had any chance to sign him, your better chances once you have him for a couple months.
Yeah. So obviously that is a arm. First off, what's going on, Bob? Long time
Yeah,
no
good to see you,
see.
Josh.
Yeah, you too. So if this move was to happen, do you see Atlanta as like the clear front runner right now, or do you expect a team that may be a dark horse coming out of nowhere to say, "Hey, we're going to jump in on this"?
I mean, the team I'd love to see is Milwaukee. You imagine they had Mizorowski, Harrison and Skubal 1, 2, 3. I'd give them as good a chance as anybody to win the World Series. They would certainly match up with the Dodgers. I'd take those three over any trio in baseball. I mean, obviously Philadelphia's got a great trio. The Yankees went healthy, the Dodgers went healthy, depending on Snell. But no, I think either team, Milwaukee or Atlanta, would push them to the top. Like I said, I'd love to see Milwaukee really go after this thing, not just make the playoffs, but give themselves a legitimate shot to get to that World Series. It's been a long time for those guys.
Wait, Bob, because AJ's not on today. They beat the first place White Sox this weekend. So are the Tigers, where would you say your percentage? Because I'm not sure who we had on the other day, but they have percentages. What's the percentage chance the Tigers keep him?
I would say 40%. That was a big weekend series, knocking off the White Sox. Well, they're only, 7.5 back. And they're still, 5.5 back in the wild card race. They poured a lot of money into this team. I think $220 million payroll, largest in franchise history. I think no matter what, they're going to wait to the very end. I think the last 72 hours saying, are we in this thing or not? I remember the Tigers did that years ago with David Price, and we see that more and more. The Angels didn't make up their mind for good Ohtani. They were around 3.5 back and kept him. So I think the same thing here with Skubal. I also think, once they start talking to teams that, you're not going to get a haul like a Juan Soto. You're going to get some nice pieces back, but why not go for it? I think the Tiger fans would love it. But they got to play good baseball between now and at least the last weekend of July.
But when you talk about a pitcher like Tarik Skubal, every extra start can help because we're not talking about teams that are necessarily locked into Braves right now. You talk about, they've lost like 4 games in the standings recently. There's still 6 up, but extra 2 starts from Tarik Skubal is worth at least like a fringe prospect.
I think of the Tigers, though, you just don't want to move too fast. And what if they get back in this race? They look like complete idiots if they dump them. The CC Sabathia one is, the most famous. They got him, I think, July 7th. And he gave him, just like you said, right, a good four more starts, if not 5 more starts in the month of July. And it's a big thing, but just nobody wants to move quickly. And I don't think the Tigers can move quickly. I think someone pointed out, I forgot, they got a Tarik Skubal bobblehead night sometime before the All-Star break. So I don't think there's any way in the world you can trade Skubal before the bobblehead night without fans going ballistic and throwing those bobbleheads back in the field.
Okay, please don't do that, fans. Just because Bob said to do it, don't do that. I don't think the Mets have a Freddie Peralta bobblehead night, but is his recent pitching failings, something that will not only keep him in New York because nobody will want to trade for him, or just completely diminish the value that the Mets could get for Freddie P?
Well, there's no qualifying offer on. I think they're going to have no choice but to trade him, and we'll see. I think he's pretty much the same pitcher as he was in Milwaukee. I mean, he's not pitching lights out, but it wasn't like he was throwing complete games in Milwaukee either. He was going 5 innings, 6 innings at a time. I think it's when Milwaukee said, you know what, we can let him go and trade him. Let's trade him at the high value, and waited until they got their price and made a heck of a deal, with the Mets. Milwaukee kind of reminds me of Tampa Bay. You don't want to deal with these guys because they're not the same players when they leave those two teams. But no, I think they're going to have no choice but to trade Peralta. And I'm not sure what you're going to get. I mean, he's a frontline starter, but he's also a starter that's only going to give you, 6 innings max. A lot of nights 5.
But wait, you said the no qualifying offer. You're saying because he gets traded, if he were to get traded, no qualifying offer would be attached to him. But if he doesn't get traded, are you saying the Mets, there's a chance they possibly do extend him a qualifying offer?
I think they would extend a qualifying offer. I do, Erik, but they tried to sign him in the spring and weren't close at all. Remember, he came out publicly and said he wants a 7-year, 8-year contract, and David Stearns doesn't operate that way. So I'd be surprised if he returns to New York. I think they give him a qualifying offer, but then again, with the CBA in negotiations, will there even be qualifying offers? Remember last time they had a CBA talks, they said, we'll have an international draft and we'll get rid of the qualifying offer. And some agents wish they had done it. So I'd be surprised at all if there's even a qualifying offer in beginning of 2027.
All right, I got a question for you, Bob. As we sit here and we're expecting, Freddie to be traded, and we talking teams that are in the mix, and obviously his year hasn't gone expected. Would you expect teams that are in like that wild card to be more aggressive? And would you see a team even with his struggles possibly getting him for like maybe bullpen help if he could be like a long reliever? Obviously, we know how the playoffs and stuff go.
I don't think it'd be a bullpen help, but I agree with you, Josh. It might be more toward the teams trying to qualify for the playoffs. I mean, would he crack Phillies top 3? No. Yankees? No. Maybe not even the Brewers, maybe the number 3 guy. But I think since he's not that, ace or number 2 guy, he'd probably fall into teams that, hey, we're trying to make the playoffs here. Hey, Detroit, decides to keep Skubal, why not go after a Peralta and say, you know what, if we get Peralta with Skubal, then we got a chance to make a playoff run and do something special.
I would love to see Freddie Peralta go back to the Brewers. That would be tremendous. Traded from the team and back to him. But I got to go to a team that doesn't want to trade anybody. Per your report, Artie Moreno is reluctant, or he doesn't want to trade Soriano, Detmers, Joe Adell, their big 3 pieces that could bring back a significant haul.
He really doesn't want to at all. When you think about it, look, Detmers, I mean, he's pitching lights out right now. He's got 2 years of control. And I think Artie Moreno is saying, wait a minute now, these are the type of guys we want. If he was a free agent at the end of the year, yeah, go ahead. Free agent after next year, maybe, but not 2 more years of control. So he wants to build around Soriano and Detmers, even Adell, even though he's a free agent after next year. Someone wants to hold on to him. Maybe things change, but they would get a haul for Detmers. And I asked around, I said, who would get more in a trade, Detmers or Skubal? And everybody says definitely Detmers, just because you have the 2.5 years left.
Control is huge. Matt Chapman, you had reported about the Giants hopeful they could trade Chapman, but you also thrown in there Luis Ariz and Robbie Ray. Is it more likely just because of their contracts that those guys, or is it more likely that Chapman because he's the most valuable piece of those 3 that you mentioned?
Well, I think Ray is definitely gone. He's a free agent at the end of the year. Not like he's itching to go back there. Arise, I think, would love to stay put, but he's got value. He's a good free agent signing, a great free agent signing for the Giants. So he's got value. I think those two, they know, hey, they're gone anyway. They're going to be free agents. So the big three money guys, they realize that Chapman's the easiest guy of the three to trade. I think impossible now with Devers, impossible with Adames. They'd have to eat so much money on both those guys. Where Chapman, you'd be able to move him, without eating much salary at all. But he's had a strong last month, and I think people love his reputation, personality as a gamer and grinder, that sort of thing. So I think they think it's easier to move Chapman. That'd be a nice $100 million coming off the books.
Yeah, I play with Chappie in Oakland a little bit of time. So seeing his name pop up, obviously, I know he adds some value. And when I saw that, do you see any teams that are real like front runners that he would really make sense for right now?
No, I mean, you would think if Boston was in the race, it would be Boston, unless they make a trade and say, you know what, we want to get a Chapman for the future, that sort of thing. Now, he does have a no trade clause, so he can pick and choose where he wants to go. So we'll see. I mean, so many people need a right-handed bat. I mean, the Philadelphia Phillies would love him, but as you guys know, night and day playing in San Francisco compared to Philadelphia. I mean, you got to be ready to embrace that. I mean, I don't think there's a tougher place to play in baseball than Philadelphia. And some guys love it. Some guys embrace it, like Bryce Harper, and some guys melt down from it.
Oh yeah, man,
what about
Kratz,
the
both
Astros?
experienced that.
I loved it. You loved
Yeah,
it too.
I did too. No, I did. I literally did.
Yeah, you loved it. There was no doubt. It's just you don't play well in Philly. You're not going home going, I don't understand why Philly doesn't like me. No, you don't like yourself. Your kids don't even really like you when you don't play well. So it's
No,
not
my
just the
kids love
city
me.
of Philly.
I remember Bryce Harper was covering his first week of games. Signs a big contract. Everybody in Philadelphia's going crazy. I think it was game 4 where he started getting booed heavily. It took only 4 games for him to get that Philly reaction.
As AJ says, they don't boo nobodies. So if you're a somebody, they're gonna boo you at home. They're gonna boo you on the road because they have high expectations. Bob, I want to go to the Astros. The Astros said, "No way, Jose! Don't even ask us because we're buying at the deadline."
Yeah, teams have inquired and say, hey, you're going to move some of these guys? We're interested. And they said, no. Hey, look at the standings right now. They're just 3 games back in the division, 2 games back in the wild card. I mean, the furthest team back is the Angels at 7.5. The American League is so down, like everybody's in it. And, Jim Crane's as aggressive as an owner as there is out there. And he says, as long as I own a team, there'll be no rebuild. So they're going after this thing. I think they say, you know what? If no one's going to take the West, we'll go ahead and take it. And they're getting guys coming back, from the injury list. So, you mentioned talking about Alvarez before the home run derby. Scouts will tell you they haven't seen a hitter, this pure of a hitter, since Barry Bonds. They think he's that great. And, why waste time with Alvarez when he can carry you by himself?
When you talk to these teams about and they make comment or you hear these comments about no way, Jose, do you feel like the teams are being intelligent when they say stuff like that? Because throughout this entire year, we've looked at the Astros and said, they're a little short. Even at the end of spring training, you're like, all right, I get it. Hunter Brown's really good and Spencer Getty could be good, but they just look like a team that was short the whole time. Do you think that front office is sitting there going, I get it, we're not going to rebuild, but man, if we could get something for Jahmai Pena, that would be something that could really help us not delve super into the free agent market, which we didn't last season.
Right, but then that's, they're saying, okay, then how about next year too? You still got him for another year after this. I think 10 teams have inquired already about him, and they've all been said, no, not now, maybe not ever. I think too they realize that hey, they draw well there. They draw over 30,000 fans a game. You buy a season ticket, you buy it for the 81 home games. You're not giving a refund back because you're waving the white flag at the trade deadline. So I think they take all that in effect. I think they very cognizant of the fan support, the PR aspect, and they know that fans would go ballistic there if they just give up, particularly when that race is so wide open.
All right, I know we just talked Yordan Alvarez with the Astros, and earlier we talked about him not participating in the home run derby. What about Mike Trout? Said he would be interested if invited. Do you think that's a real possibility? Would it be in 40 minutes from where he's from?
I think it is. Yeah, they were in Phoenix last week and asked Trout. I said, when's the last time you've done a home run derby? He goes, never have. And I was kind of stunned by that. I said, really? I said, how about this time being your hometown? He goes, I would definitely consider it. He goes, if I'm asked, I'm going to consider it. If I'm a MLB, I don't hesitate. I go right to Trout and say, we want you in the derby. I think it'd be fantastic. His first one, probably his last one in his hometown. I think the fans would eat it up. So I think fans would rather see, as great as Alvarez, I think the fans in Philadelphia would much rather see a Mike Trout in it than just about anybody except for their homegrown guys like Harper.
We just need him to
Oh,
get
there'd be
healthy,
so
right?
much. Yeah.
Right? Didn't he? Yeah, just need him to go. I just thought about that, but I was like, if he can be healthy, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, and I don't think he'll be on the injury list that long. I mean, he played that whole game before he got put on, so it's not going to be a long-lasting thing. I remember when the Angels went back to Philadelphia the first time, his entire town came out. I think he had 15 buses from Millville. It's just a 40-minute drive from his house. They even had the marching band in the field. The mayor from Millville was throwing the first pitch. And it really angered the Philly players. Like, wait a minute, now this is our home game, not Mike Trout home game. And he was laughing about that the other day, too. But they love Mike Trout back east.
I was going to say there'd be so many people that'd be so pissed because it's going to be Bryce Harper, Kyle Schwarber, and essentially a Philly in Mike Trout. But hey, you know what? It's an exhibition. Get everybody out there. That is what everybody wants to see, right, Bob?
Oh, absolutely. Especially for a guy, he's going to the Hall of Fame one day. He's had some, rough years at the, last 4 or 5 years with injuries. Just to see him, I mean, he hasn't played in the All-Star game since 2019. So that'll be special enough. But to him to be in the Derby, I think he might be the crowd favorite. So you know what? Let's see something special we've never seen before. Mike Trout winning a home run derby. He's done everything else in the game. Why not that?
Yeah, he needs some more hardware for sure. Somebody that might be changing course, the Red Sox. Can you explain a little bit more into like, hey, you know what? Red Sox scouts are now being used a little bit more. Does this have anything to do with the fact that Theo Epstein thinks scouting is actually important and not just looking at numbers on a computer?
Yeah, it's kind of a before there was a thing where they didn't want scouts to take more than one trip a month just for cost savings and flying out. Now all of a sudden this past week is saying, hey, let's go see some major league games. I think Craig Breslow realizes, hey, his time could be coming near. And there's a lot of pressure on him. The scouts, let's start going back to what they did. Hey, Dave Dombrowski loves scouts, believes in scouts. They won a World Series with him. That won since. So I think maybe Craig Breslow is saying, let's throw these guys out there. I mean, some of the top scouts, I mean, the top teams in baseball all have the most scouts, whether it's Tampa Bay, the Dodgers, the Yankees, the Kansas City Royals actually have a lot of scouts, Phillies, and, they're about it. You can still use your analytics, but let's have some eyes on these players too. And those guys that go to the games get some inside information.
Yeah, it always seems like when some extreme measure holds, the team usually corrects itself and starts to veer back to more of a middle path here. Just getting rid of that whole department, it would be crazy. While we're on this team, last one for you, Bob. Sonny Gray, it sounds like he already publicly said this weekend that he would be open to a trade. And I know that a lot of his money is already being eaten up by the Cardinals. So this could be a guy that is heavily coveted around the trade deadline if the Red Sox decide to sell. We've talked about Chapman. It doesn't seem like there are a ton of guys that they would have, maybe a bullpen arm or two like Chapman and Whitlock, Sonny Gray. I don't think they'd trade Wilson Contreras because they have him for next year too. But your thoughts on the Red Sox and how this Sonny Gray kind of public open to things changes anything?
Yeah, I think it'd be great for Gray too, because I think for him to pitch back in the playoffs, I think it'd mean a lot to him. I'm sure he'd love to get traded back to St. Louis for that matter. I think obviously if there's no trade, I think he would love to go to Atlanta, and I think it'd fit right in perfectly with that whole clubhouse culture, everything else. I think Sonny Gray would be very comfortable there. So if I had to pick one spot, I know we talked about Skubal before, but how about Sonny Gray? And I don't think it would cost that much to get him. And obviously those teams have done a lot of deals before. I'm sure Boston, will love to say, we already gave you Chris Hill. How about Sonny Gray? But we need some more back in return this time. You pleat us once. Let's see if we can make up for it.
Oh my gosh. And he's from Tennessee, by the way. So yes, I mean that's Braves country for all intents and purposes, and went to Vanderbilt and all that. But that would be funny if, the Braves are in the playoffs and the rotation is just guys that the Red Sox gave them for not much. So tough times up in Boston. Bob, good stuff. Great to catch up with you as always. We really appreciate it. Bob's note column is out from yesterday. There's much more that you can dive into there. Talk to you soon, Bob.
All right, my pleasure. Take care, guys.
Thank you. It is that time. We're looking ahead. What do we have this week? SeatGeek helping us out as they'll get you some 10% off tickets with the promo code Territory10. So we're looking at a few matchups that begin tonight. The Yankees meet up with the Tigers for a series. Well, Detroit's been playing really well, and it's kind of like life support for them to try and get themselves back closer to the 500 mark, or else we're just going to talk about Tarik Skubal every day, all day until he gets traded. Astros Blue Jays gets a little bit interesting now too, Kratz, as the Stros are playing better. And I think they have the second best record over the past month in the American League. You've got Yordan, you've got Hader, you've got Hunter Brown, and the Mariners are certainly not running away with the division.
They're not. Here's where the Astros, if they can pitch, they can certainly hit, where the Mariners and the rest of the American League can't really hit that much. So, hey, if the Astros can hit, they can figure out this pitching with Hunter Brown and Erik. I don't know. I still think they're a team that's 5 games under 500.
Okay. Yeah, they're 16-11 in their past 27 games. So it's good, not great. But for that stretch, that's actually second best in the American League because, Josh, the American League's been a little bit weaker than the National League. It's a bunch of negative run differentials. Yeah, it's stinky.
Yeah, it's definitely, that's part of baseball. But and we're still covering, talking to Yankees and the Tigers. And I was actually, looking at it to where I'm going with the Yankees, Garrett Cole, money line, obviously former teammate of mine. But just seeing him healthy, and I know what he can bring to the table. And the Yankees obviously missing Judge. But playing in that market, Garrett's a perfect guy that's ready for the ball, and I think Garrett's gonna do what he does.
Yeah, and one more I'll highlight if you want to go grab a ticket on SeatGeek. Gavin Williams matching up with Anthony Kay. Kratz, they're going to have 7 matchups between the White Sox and Guardians over the next week and change between now and July 6th. So if you want to grab a ticket to that one and see what's up, White Sox have lost 7 of their last 10 games. So we'll see if they rebound. Kyle Teal is back. First
That's huge.
game of the season coming up for him. So it's a good little burst. So the code, you know it, for 10% off your MLB tickets at SeatGeek, 10% off is code Territory10, where you can click the link in the description to download the app and have the code automatically added to your account so that you can use it later and then find the seats that you want on SeatGeek. They help you out. It is the #1 ticketing app. Oh, I love starting injuries suck with a return, Kratz. That's what I like. I look for it. We dig deep. We found one. Shane Bieber's coming back. Now, it was supposed to be tonight. They had rain over the weekend that pushed him back a night. So it's Dylan Cease Monday night. And then Bieber returns for the Blue Jays Tuesday. There's a few teams that you watch and they get off to slow starts and you're not worried about them. This is one for me. Kratz. They were pretty slow starting last year. They dealt with many more arm injuries this year. I think Vladdy's going to eventually start swinging the bat well, but Bieber helps. And you know what? If anything, with what he's dealt with in his career, you get half a season of Bieber, it's probably going to be a fresher Bieber.
I hope that this Bieber is not the every other start Bieber that we had last year. And I think that's why they took it as long as they did. He wasn't even throwing in spring training. So if he's back and he can be the Bieber consistent, 3 out of 4 starts consistent, that would be massive for this team that still needs to figure out how to score runs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Obviously injuries suck, but Kratzy obviously playing the game. We all know guys play through injuries, and you mentioned him taking a little bit more time to come back. I'm with you. Maybe that was just a situation where he's like, man, World Series last year, Game 7. Like, hey, if we plan on getting back there, I got to make sure I'm completely good to not be that every other day or every other start guy. So as soon as you said that, that was the first thing that popped in my head was making sure every precaution to make sure that when he goes out there, that he's good to go.
You know what else helps, guys? Having a 5-man rotation. I mean, I know on your show, Bucko Territory, Josh, you guys covered a lot with the surplus that they had and how that created a little bit of drama. Most teams have the opposite effect where there's a
Right.
bullpen game every 5th or 6th day. So that's what the Blue Jays have been rolling with, right? Because they've had, and almost all of their guys have been on the IL at some point. But right now, they're rolling with Cease. Now Bieber comes back, and that's going to give them a 5th. Patrick Corbin, who started off well, but now hasn't been pitching as well lately. Trey Savage is there. Kevin Gossman is there. So now they've got 5. Before that, you're rolling with 4, and then you're exhausting the bullpen at least once a week. So that, in general, to me, often helps, right? We know how that'll kind of help to solidify things and not have guys all thinking they're going to have to unload every, whatever amount of games.
That's where I'm worried. I'm worried about the bullpen for this team because they were running through this stretch of 3 times through rotation, because Dylan Cease doesn't go deep, because Bieber's, I'm assuming, not going to be able to go that deep. And they just found out this weekend Trey Savage goes through. They tried to push him a 4th time through, which he's never done. It just feels like they have to have reinforcements for that bullpen because this rotation, besides Gosman, doesn't really go that deep.
Yeah.
No, I mean, you spoke it right there, and that's why the flip of the coin of if Bieber, you don't really want him coming back and feeling like he's got to go 7, 8 at 100+ pitches, but at the same time, you need him to be healthy to give that bullpen a blow because those guys, as you mentioned, have been pretty taxed.
So Bieber had Tommy John surgery in April of 2024, right? And the injury officially has been called elbow inflammation for him, which has kept him out for, a few months so far this season. If you actually add up his starts since the beginning of 2024, it's 9 starts from 24 through now, right? Because he missed 24. He came back pretty late in 25, then pitched in the playoffs. I'm talking about 9 regular season starts. And now he's about to make his debut. So he has not pitched much. And this was a big thing, Kratz, we talked about in the offseason when he opted back in and he loves Toronto, but also he's still been dealing with things. Not everybody bounces back completely from Tommy John surgery ever, or at least not the way that they used to look. We're seeing that with Spencer Strider right now for sure with Atlanta.
Yeah, he can't get right. And Bieber knew this. No way anybody opts in just because they loved the culture. Like, he knew this, and I think it's a smart move. Be healthy for half the year. And the Blue Jays built their or tried to build their rotation to mimic that. He had no attempt to make it back in spring training because I don't think the Blue Jays needed that. And here they are. They're in striking distance, and now they need to solidify a solid wild card spot.
Mm-hmm. Let's
And
rip
for
through a few
him,
others. Oh, go ahead, Josh.
yeah. No, I was just gonna say for him, familiarity or the organization dealing with the injury, he doesn't have to go to a new team. They already know where he's at. So like you said, it's not necessarily the city of culture, but if I'm going to take some time out, let me do it with a training staff that has already been with me.
Mm-hmm. Hey, you could make the same case for Justin Verlander, kicking it back old school with the Tigers, but he hasn't pitched yet. And we were about to see him. We thought we were going to see him this weekend, and he had a setback, and it's going to be weeks. So that's the next one we'll hit here. He was scratched. He was supposed to pitch on Sunday. It's a left hamstring injury. That was after he threw a bullpen on Wednesday. And they're saying weeks. And the quote here from him, of course, is depressing if you're, a player that's trying to get back on the field and really a Hall of Fame player trying to get back on the field and at least do one more season here. He said, quote, "I've always said I want to play until the wheels fall off. And I don't know, maybe they are falling off." So Josh, you get to that point in your career where also because he's had trouble staying on the field, he's shown us flashes. The
Right.
next offseason here, the chances that he gets a major league deal start to get pretty low unless he goes off in the second half when he comes back. But yeah, it's been tough to keep him on the field now.
Yeah, I mean that's the nature of the sport, and I think anybody that plays this game, you wish you could play till the wheels fall off because it's you much rather take the jersey off yourself than somebody having to take it off for you. You only get to play this game for as long as you can, and a lot of that comes with acknowledgement. And he said maybe they are falling off. He didn't say they are, but he's acknowledging that his body's not what it once was, and sometimes you weigh the risk versus reward. Is it really worth it? And as you mentioned, he hasn't started this year. Yes, it's sad to hear a guy going through that because, like, man, we know what he is on the mound when he's healthy and what he's been for the game for a long time. But hearing that is also a thing where he's coming to the realization of, I got to listen to my body, and he's doing everything he can to make it back as anybody would. But sometimes your body's gonna let you know, and I hope to see him back. I won't say that he can't make it back because none of us really know, but we also know that it's going to be tougher. Obviously, the older that you get, the more wear and tear that you put on your body.
I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear any of that from Verlander. No, the wheels aren't falling off. You're going to be back. We need to see you back in your last year here. But I need to know, Jay, hey, did you ruin one of his no hitters in like the 8th or ninth inning?
Oh man, it was the ninth inning with 2 outs, I believe. He threw me 6 straight
Oh my
sliders.
goodness.
I swung at the first two. They was 54 foot, but you know, he was going for the no hitter. But yeah. So I've had my battles with Verlander. Got nothing but respect for facing him. But that's why I was like, to hear a guy like that be realistic is like he. You heard me say he didn't say he said maybe. So
Mhm.
there's a little bit of that thought, but at the same time, I think everybody's just like, man, if you can finish strong and just, as you said, being able to be back in Detroit. But yeah, I got him. I'm sure Detroit didn't really enjoy that, neither did he. But I was able to break one up.
Wait. So you can't you I need you to answer this, Jay. Hey, if you leave a shred of doubt in your mind that maybe you ain't making it back, how are you going to make it back? You can't do that at 23, let alone 43 for Verlander.
Oh, hey, I can't speak for him. Maybe that's his way of telling everybody else to read between the lines. You
Okay.
know,
Okay.
I can't speak for him because I spent a lot of time on the injured list. I've had surgeries. I had to make my way back. And I'll be honest, not once did I ever say that I wasn't gonna make it back. There were some times that was really hard, but I also wasn't how old is Verlander?
43.
I wasn't 43 at the time. Um, so just being honest, 43 as opposed to 33, 34, 35, having surgery is a little different. But I mean, you're talking about a pitcher, that's all he does is pitch. So I get it though. If I'm making my way back, there's no way I'm saying I'm maybe making it back. But at the same time, I think you do have to be realistic. And maybe that was just him having an out of body moment, not really realizing what he was saying, but just being really honest.
Yeah. Hey, when you get to that stage, I mean, Kratz, he knows his body well at this point, and the body's breaking down a little bit as far as being a major league pitcher. It's a fact. So maybe it gives him a little extra motivation. He's telling himself, they say that I'm done, but I don't feel like I'm done. So we'll see if he can come back for the Tigers. They've needed him, but we'll see if the Tigers are in a good spot by the time he comes back, too. That's part of it.
He can't hit either. So no, the Tigers don't need him that bad. They need hitters. They need hitters.
I don't see that. I don't think they'll be adding hitters unless they go on some crazy run the next couple weeks. But we'll see. Let's go to the AL Central here. This is a tough loss even for a few games because this team also is staring at sell mode. The Royals lost Bobby Witt Jr. He hasn't played since Thursday. Grade 1 MCL sprain. That's bad. I mean, also he's an MVP candidate. If he's not the leader, he's certainly top 3 Kratz. So you don't want to see Bobby go down for a long period of time. Plus, it's the knee. He's a guy who uses his speed and his agility a lot. Not great.
No, definitely not great, especially when you're talking about a team that has to crawl out of it somehow. I don't think they're going to crawl out of it, but they were kind of built to crawl out for the last few years. And I thought this team was going to do better. Did I think they're a playoff team? No. But if you told me the American League was as bad as it is, I would have said the Royals will figure out a way. The Royals will figure out a way because they play great defense. They have solid pitching, and they're just not winning games. For whatever reason, you can't lose an MVP. He was my MVP candidate for the season, my MVP pick for the season.
Yeah, that's a tough, loss depending on how long. Because on our Buckle territory, I think he was when we did our preseason. I think he was my pick as well. Just for everything that he can do for that team, offensively and defensively. But you mentioned around the knee MCL sprain. Speed is a big part of his game. Being on his feet, moving, being athletic is a big part of his game. So obviously you're going to listen to him, but you're also going to take your precautions just to be really careful because you don't want to lose him for any longer than really what you have to.
A couple more injuries I'll just run through quick. Two more from the weekend. Jack Leiter, ankle impingement, so he goes on the shelf. He'd been struggling a little over his last couple starts, so that hurts for the Rangers. They're built almost solely on pitching right now. I mean, that's a run prevention team if there ever was one. Same with their ballpark, so never helps. And then also Liam Hicks placed on the injured list with a back strain. Kratz, he's actually one of the guys that basically nobody knows nationally, lower back strain for him, but he's been really good for the Marlins. And the Marlins have been really freaking good this month. They're playing their way back into some wild card thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, they're taking advantage of the teams that are coming in, a little bit of an easier stretch. Yes, they're playing into that wild card, but man, you can't lose a guy like this. To me, I thought Hicks was supposed to be their one all-star pick. But if they keep winning, maybe they get more than one. But they have a ridiculous catcher in, I am totally blanking on his name now, Mack, who they brought up. And
Joe Mack.
to me, I think Joe Mack behind the dish is really helping change some of this. I'm not saying Liam Hicks isn't very good. I'm saying with Ramirez getting sent down, I feel like they have a tandem now. I'm sorry, Augustine. It's not Augustus. Augustine Ramirez. Since he got sent down, I think this catching tandem has really helped these pitchers get the most out of them because of what they're adding defensively, night in and night out, no matter who's behind the dish.
Yeah. Marlins are on a 14-4 run right now. They've won 4 games in a row. They had a great weekend. Yeah, good for them. They're pesky. Right? I think it's 8 straight at home. They're half game out of a wild card spot right now. Yeah, Jay, they're in it. They're in it. Would love to see them add a little bit and not subtract Sandy Alcantara. I mean, this is why you sign them up long term, so you have them for a season like this. Will that actually happen? I don't know. But all right, that's your little injury run-in. And I know a lot of you asking about Rafael Devers and that whole situation. Oh, we saved some time for it. So that's Hot Corner coming up. Kratz, Mint Mobile plans, still just $15 a month.
And you're getting a ton from that $15.
That's right. And we've talked about this for a while. It hasn't changed. It's still all there for you. I'm talking about unlimited talk, text, and data, fast, reliable coverage on the nation's largest 5G network. Oh, and an award-winning care team. Mint Mobile has it all for $15 a month. You can even bring your current phone and your number, choose from 3, 6, or 12-month plans. Say goodbye to a monthly bill. Ditch overpriced wireless with Mint Mobile. To get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month, go to mintmobile.com/territory. That's mintmobile.com/territory. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/territory. $45 upfront payment required, equivalent to $15 a month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See Mint Mobile for details. Hey, we talked about this with Bob Nightengale, but from our crew, Sonny Gray said, quote, if someone came to me from the Red Sox and made a decision that's the direction this team was going to go, I would be open for a conversation. Whatever happens from then, only time will tell, but I would be open for a conversation. So to me, very clearly, Jay, that means Sonny Gray down to get traded to the right team. He's got the full no trade clause. You know, he let that go this offseason to move from St. Louis to Boston. Funny enough, the Cardinals are wild card contenders. The Red Sox are not. But like Bob mentioned, maybe he'll end up back on the Cardinals.
Yeah, you never know. As you mentioned, Sonny being open to conversations. Obviously, Boston's had a lot going on this season. with really kind of cleaning the house. And for a guy that was, traded there, as you mentioned, wanting to, you know, have a chance to play in the playoffs where he was thinking, what it was going to be is not what it is. He's like, you know what? I'm not saying I'm jumping ship, but if there's an opportunity out there, let's make it happen. Because you got rid of the manager. Then I just saw, obviously scouts going back into the stands, which all things are, pointing to it didn't turn out the way that it did when he got traded. And it's not saying he's like, oh, I don't like this place. I ain't saying he does or doesn't, but for a guy that wants to win, has been some places and it's not turning out to be what he hoped, what he waived his trade clause for. He wants to add value somewhere.
We've talked a lot about Rafael Devers over the last couple years, and here we are talking about him again. It's a bad Giants team. It's the ninth inning. The Giants were swept over the weekend, Kratz, and in the ninth inning, he was down 0-2, worked a walk. They're down a run. He sees a pinch runner, Jonah Cox, coming out to replace him, and he had a full-on temper tantrum, both standing at first and then when he went into the dugout and eventually to the clubhouse. Let's find out thoughts from former players here. Kratz, we'll start with you. How does this make him look?
Let's just go baseball move right here. Rafi, you ain't stealing that bag. Whether Jonah Cox did or not, doesn't matter. You ain't stealing that bag. You ain't stolen a bag this year. That's not your spot to be in. Secondly, the fact that the way he handled it, I thought he was kind of joking, like, I just worked a big walk, we're down a run. He wanted to keep running in the ninth inning. Dog, we need that run to score. You're out. Like, I thought he was joking, and it turned into something where he did throw a tantrum in the dugout. Like, he doesn't want to be congratulated. Come on, stop.
Yeah, that's tough, man. You even look at the first base coach. He's kind of like, hey man, you got to come out, but like he's like, what am I supposed to do? And yeah, it did look like a joke at first, but I didn't take it as a joke when I saw him like going like this. But you're right. Baseball play, man. Everybody knows in that situation, if we need this run, we got to get a base runner, a guy that's got some speed, that's going to get that extra 90, that might steal a bag, that can score on something in the gap. And I think, was it not mentioned that they were planning to give him a little break on his legs or something too? So when you taking all these things into account of being a professional, you're communicating with your team. And if you've already said, hey, my leg's a little shot, might be a little this, and you're not a base stealer, in that situation, you're getting ran for because obviously you've done your part to get on base. You're not about to. I mean, they need that run to potentially win the game, going to extras or whatever. But what good does it do it if you got a guy that's on base? And it's just not a good look, given how he's been in the media, surrounding trades and from Boston to San Francisco, how he's received. That's not a team player, and I'm not saying that Rafi isn't a team player. I haven't played with them, but that right there was a very selfish move because, as you said, Kratz, he wasn't still in that bag. He was just trying to make a point to say, "No, I can do what I want," almost, and then to turn away when somebody's trying to congratulate you, man. No wonder this team isn't playing well. Teams that don't win do stuff like that.
Yeah, and obviously he doesn't speak to the media. I heard Richard Riley on their post game say, "Well, we don't know what he's thinking because he never speaks to the media." But my thing is like, what's the hierarchy here? Because my guy Sugar Shane Robinson's the first base coach there, and first base coach isn't going to be like, "Bro, like you got to get out of here." But then it's like, is there a hierarchy in the sense that like maybe Rafi doesn't respect Tony's moves? Maybe I'm
Right.
going too far into this, but I know Sugar Shane's one of the base running coaches. So it's like, why you're putting me in a spot right now? Why am I sitting here going, well, yeah, obviously Cox is coming in for you, whether we steal him or not. Like there has to be a hierarchy. And then they panned to Tony Vitello in the dugout. And our guy, Ron Washington, was right behind him. And Ron Washington said in spring training, I don't care if you've got 1 day or 100 years in the big leagues and you're the manager, you're the Jefe. That's who everybody looks to. Ron Washington on this show said those exact words when we were talking about rookie hazing for the manager, like jokingly, and he was like, no. We don't play that way. So I'll be interested to see what comes up of this, just to hear what the reaction from the coaches or the rest of the team were after this.
Right, because I mean, we all know guys that, oh, you got a day off tomorrow. Oh no, I'm going in to talk to Skip. Like, we not talking, hey, we're gonna give you the day off tomorrow, and you go in and talk your way out of having a day off. Like, that's different. Everybody's had cases where managers are like, oh man, I love when a guy comes into my office and tells me I don't need a day off because I'm facing so and so tomorrow. But this wasn't a pinch hit because you're facing somebody nasty. This was a team move, meaning, hey, we're trying to win a ball game, and right now we need one of our better base runners on. And you did your job to get on. And it does come to ask a question: is it a respect thing? Like, is it a thing where it's like, man, I don't really respect, and I'm not saying that Rafi doesn't respect him, but realistically, that does make you ask that question because you're not going to agree with every move, but at the same time, some moves are going to make sense. And I thought that was a move that made sense in the situation of the game, as well did a lot of people.
Well, let's get thoughts from Tony Vitello, who talked about how, he wants guys like Devers and Logan Webb who don't want him to come take him out. Like you guys said, there's a difference between that and the level of respect that everybody saw on camera. So here's Vitello.
On with Devers there in the ninth?
Yeah, I mean, he was signaling over to us that he's good to run. We DH'd him the first game after the day off, just because from base running, a little bit of soreness in his leg, but he's good to go. And so a part of that, and then a part of it too, how competitive he is. He wants to stay in the game.
What do you make of that reaction? It seemed like he kind of waved Jonah off, then went right back into the clubhouse.
Yeah, I didn't see where he went afterwards, but once we announced the move, the move is made. So just going with what our best effort is to win the game. Obviously, you'd like to get Jonah to go get a bag. He's relatively quick to the plate, but on a double, going with our best chance to be able to score. So,
do you feel like you need to talk to Devers after that?
No, we talk every day. Yeah. I'm good. I'd rather have guys like Webby that you got to rip them off the field as opposed to vice versa.
Now we're showing for the podcast audio crowd, Alex Cora chiming in, who's sipping margaritas, hanging out, getting paid by the Red Sox to watch them burn. But he's also watching the Giants go through their struggles with Rafael Devers, who caused him a lot of turmoil. Those two were going at it when they were going over the position change. But Alex just said, but, and then an emoji with the zipper that he's not saying a word. Lips are sealed. That should say it all. Alex Cora clearly had significant issues with Devers, and they did not get along, and he's trying to tell the world right now. Are you sure it had to do with me, or did it have to do with him? And I covered and have known Rafi since he was like a kid, right? And he was like an innocent, young, easygoing kid in the clubhouse. But it seems like he has changed. I don't know him as much the last few years, but we've seen enough of this going on with him that it does seem like he's changed. Kratz, you disagree? He doesn't speak to the media much, maybe like a few times. It's very rare, right, that he speaks to the media. And maybe he feels like stuff's been misconstrued in the past. I don't know, but you had the whole issue with the Red Sox last year. Then he gets traded over to here. He's actually hit pretty well since a bad first month of the season. Like, he's kind of at his Rafi numbers since May 1. He's 264, 338, 540 with the Giants. Those are not park adjusted. That's his slash line with the Giants. So, like, he's not the problem from a hitting perspective, but you don't want to see that. No? Doesn't that kind of show you there's more going on?
It does. It does. But has he had a moment like this? We've seen it visually. Before it was he said, she said. And then Big Papi was like, nah, I think Rafi's great. And then all of a sudden Big Papi turns around and was like, no. Like, I remember where my paychecks come from. So Rafi's awesome. Like, I guess we're just going to have to be able to view it. It's like Manny Machado. We're going to have to view it based on the things that happen in games. Like, if you have immature moments like Rafi just had and you don't speak, what are we supposed to say? Like, how are we supposed to misconstrue something that we never hear your side of it? So maybe it's a little bit immature, but I think there's also I guess double standards, not the right word. Superstars are treated differently. Like, if I'm a manager of a team, I'm going to say, I'm going to treat you all fairly, but I'm going to treat each of you, not treat each of you equally, but I'll treat you fairly because you're not all equal. Some of you are better. So superstars need to be treated differently. But they also need to make sure they're respecting what's going on this team.
I kind of disagree with you there. Superstar, non-superstar, you got to be held accountable. I don't care if you
True.
are better than this guy. There's certain things on winning clubs that shouldn't be. And I get it. We understand the fire, but that to me is like I don't think superstar should get a pass because he's a superstar. You know what? You put your boots and your clothes on just like the next man. So if it's something that you need to be chewed out for, just because you make a lot of money and you're good, don't mean you get a pass. And I think that's where this game has gone. Is a lot of these guys have been getting paid and getting, passes on being accountable for things when it's like, bro, it's just simple communication. You said your legs were sore. They probably told you, hey, you lead off this and you get on. We're going to pinch run for you. If that wasn't communicated, that's a fault on the team, but that's also a fault on them just not really communicating. But anybody knows, I don't care your status. Accountability to me is big. How you treat somebody should be throughout that clubhouse because everybody putting on that uniform. And I get it. There are certain things you let superstars slide with as far as, okay, yeah, hey, coach, when I was there, you know what? You don't need to run 90% on that ball back to the pitcher, but I need you to give me 60 or 70.
That's
Don't
fair.
show me up, and I get it in those moments, but like I don't think you'd see real leaders of a team look at a manager and be like, bro, I'm not coming out. And to me,
Oh,
that's an accountability thing. You let things slide
oh,
and then it makes it acceptable for other people.
you said it. You said it at the beginning of that statement right there. You said it, Jay. You said a real leader. Maybe they don't have a real leader. Maybe Rafi's not that real leader. And I think that's okay because I don't know that he wants to be that leader. I think they paid Willie Adames to be that guy. I think they have opportunities for other guys to step up. Logan Webb's that guy. But the reality is they're not all treated the same. They're not all treated the same. And never should the respect ever change. No, that's not going to happen. But Jay Hay is going to be treated way differently in some cases than Andrew McCutchen is. Fact. Even with Jay Hayes an all-star. Even if Rafi Devers never came to me and said his legs were sore. Rafi, you ain't as fast as Jonah Cox. That's it. We need this bag. We don't score runs, so I need this ball to float into the outfield, and we're going to score because Jonah Cox stole second base, and now we got a tie ball game.
Yeah, also, right. If the name of the game is winning, whatever you're feeling, sore or not, Jonah Cox is much faster than you, bro. It's 2-1 in the ninth. We're about to get swept on a Sunday against the Marlins. Thank you for your 0-2 turning into a walk. You did your job. Go to the dugout, high five everyone, and say, let's score that damn run. Period. That's the end. You're getting so much money to do that. You got on base. I mean, Homer would have been nice, but you got on base. Like you battled in an at bat, done. Right? That's it.
He
I
ain't
don't
taking
like
that
that.
run to arbitration.
No. Yeah, but it's like
No.
this is the most basic baseball strategy too. Like there's no debate here. Your manager wants to put in a pinch runner to try and freaking score, either steal a base or yeah, maybe there's a gapper or some extra base hit that turns into a run. And the percentage chance is someone else is scoring that better than you. The only reason you want to stay in the game is you think, oh, this is going to extras. I'm getting an extra AB because you're not staying in you're not making a case that you're faster than Cox. You want to do a friggin' a race after the game? You want to race Cox after the game, see how that goes? You don't want that smoke. You're there for power. You're there for your bat. You did your job. Go sit down and high five everyone and show that you're a good teammate. Kratz, it wasn't just that he was arguing then. Then he goes into the dugout and who was it? Jace Tingler? Trying to give him a little smack,
I think
like
it was
good
Jay.
stuff.
Yeah.
And he avoids him
Yeah.
like that to me was the true temper tantrum right there. Like, don't touch me. What? That's too much.
That move harkens me back when you were talking back to what Craig Breslow said. And I kind of laughed at it. Craig Breslow said, we're going to be a better team without Rafi Devers. And I was like, what? You're going to find 35 homers somewhere else? And I laughed at it. But if he did this in public, I have a hard time believing there's not worse happening behind closed doors. That's it. And maybe this is fresh. It just happened yesterday. The team's not playing well and I'm overreacting to it. But if it happens in public, I wonder what's going on behind closed doors. And maybe Craig Breslow was right. Maybe I owe Craig Breslow an apology.
Mm. Tony Vitello has his hands full right now with this Giants team. They're in bad shape. Let's take a break. Let's talk about some beef between Tarik Skubal and the White Sox from the weekend. You know why you're enjoying this minute? Because we're happy, Kratz. We're happy because we're wearing Mack Weldon.
Yes, I'm 6'5", and nobody can give me tall clothing, but Mack Weldon allows me to have it. So I don't really have to care about how I look, and I still look good because I don't put a lot of time into what I do to pick out my clothes. Mack Weldon takes care of it for me.
Classic, always in style, made from the world's most comfortable performance materials. Summer gets sweaty, don't let unnecessary sweat spots emerge. Mack Weldon's Air Knit X fabric helps you out. Their lightest fabric is fused with nylon mesh for maximum airflow. Skip the midday wardrobe changes. The barely there feel also keeps you feeling more dry and fresh. Don't sweat the heat this summer. Feel as effortlessly cool as you look with Mack Weldon. Go to mackweldon.com and get 20% off your first order of $125 or more with promo code FOUL. That's MackWeldon.com, code FOUL. Hey, we hope surgery goes well for Pat Murphy. Back surgery on Thursday. As Adam McAlvey said, it's going to be the appetizer. Then he gets right hip surgery during the All-Star break. So he does not anticipate missing any Brewer games. And while we're on the Brewers, fun series this weekend, guys. Josh, we had Miz pitching again on Friday, dominating for a while, but the Braves did just enough, almost playoff baseball feel to it, where they're like, hey, we just got to get contact. Let's figure this out. Dubon's been their clutch guy. He's like almost 400 with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. Gets it done. They had another close win the next day against Ashby in the bullpen for the Brewers. So the Braves, they played them well there at home.
That was Ashby's first loss, right?
It was.
I think I saw. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, man. What you got? Two teams at the top of their division. Good baseball, man. And as you mentioned, the potential kind of felt like the playoffs. It's always good to have series like that. Especially between teams, because that's what you want. Show up to the field every day. There's so many games that can go sideways. Big score here, big score there. But this weekend show, when you got two teams at the top of their game, top of their divisions, and they meet, and you have those games like that. It's refreshing. I think it's good for baseball. You're seeing good pitching, you're seeing timely hitting, and you're just seeing the overall product of what fans want to see. Some exciting games, back and forth, good pitching, all those things mentioned before. And I'm sure the Atlanta Braves fans enjoyed it because it was in Atlanta, right? And they had some pretty exciting wins. But it's always good to see good baseball. And you mentioned Pat Murphy and the Brewers. He didn't miss much.
Oh, we've got some beef, some chirping between Tarik Skubal and the White Sox on Friday. Mike Vasil, the pitcher, he's the wand guy, right? Kratz, he's the wand guy on the White Sox. He's got the magic wand over his. Yeah, he looks like a good time. He looks like fun. Him and Skubal had some fun. Skubal seemed like he had fun going back and forth with him after the game. He's like, yeah, some good words getting exchanged there. But what did you think of the little back and forth?
I liked it until I saw a little bit of interaction later with Vasil and his teammates. Skubal, obviously Vasil's, he's that not clubhouse lawyer, but like dugout chirper. He's not healthy right now. He's got the wand. The boys are playing good. I think some of that, like, let's make sure we're not rustling the nest too much. I'm not saying that the Tigers are going to come back. I'm saying the White Sox, you guys are playing well. You guys are an energy team. And I think Vasil's part of that energy. I just think, it didn't come out. It didn't come out too well. And I saw a little bit of the interaction before, like he's in a dugout laughing, everybody's laughing. So maybe it was a good time. Maybe that's what's fired these boys up a little bit, but didn't come out on top for the weekend. So I just want to make sure, like, hey, you're riding high, you're doing well. Like, let's stick to what's kept us going well. And maybe this is it. Maybe they've been chirping and nobody's chirped back at them yet.
Right. Yeah, we don't know for all what it's worth, how long they've been doing it. But obviously from a standpoint when you got a guy like Skubal on the mound, I'm sure, him missing some time, that's probably, oh man, I missed this type of competition. So I'm sure for him, as you read his comments, it's fun chirping back and forth. But I agree with you. If that's something that was out of character for their dugout, you want to stay the same. But if that's what they've been doing, as you mentioned, with the White Sox being an energy team, by all means, continue to do what you're doing because that's what works for y'all. But just know that some guys you're gonna get a reaction out of, whether you like it or not. But if it's all competition and ain't nobody, trying to harm nobody, hey, things are gonna be said in the heat of the moment. Oh, you suck. Oh, you can't get me out. Oh, go sit down. But within that, hey, every team has had a guy that's not active right now that is keeping vibes up. And sometimes those guys are there to get under the skin of the other team, just to get you off your game. And sometimes that's just the part of, why you got guys in the dugout of, hey, we need all the energy we can. And I didn't see anything wrong with it because I mean, it was just chirping. You played, you know enough chirping. So I didn't see anything wrong with it other than just make sure you chirping the right people because some people will say, okay, all right, you poked the bear. All right, I'm coming for you.
That's where, like, you saw the turnaround in Pittsburgh. You were part of
Hmm.
that turnaround in Pittsburgh. All of a sudden, the boys start getting a little more confident, and the White Sox are winning. So when that chirping happens, like teams are all of a sudden coming after the White Sox. How do the White Sox respond? Is going to be the tale of two halves of a season, or it's going to be the tale of, hey, this was our playoff run team, and this is how we did it. Like, it's how you respond when you're the one being hunted.
Exactly. And it's fun to be on that side because it's been a long time for the White Sox. But as you mentioned, how are they going to handle it? Because, you can chirp, but you got to be able to back it up. And, as you mentioned, they're riding high right now, but it's a long season. Like to see them keep it up, but at the same time, hey, this is a long season. You better be able to back it up for the whole time.
Yeah, and that team's in your division. Don't poke the bear there. The Tigers are chilling right now, and now they swept them. They're having a good month. They're starting to turn things around a little bit. Vasil said I was up there on the top step helping the team out, cheering them on. Next thing I know, I'm getting reamed out. Skubal did a lot of smiling when he was talking about everything. So, I mean, he said it was some pretty choice words. Then I shared back some choice words. Skubal said it was good stuff. So to me, you're kind of firing up the Tigers the way you don't want to fire up the Tigers
Right.
in mid-June, like just let them do their thing, right? Josh, I mean, the White Sox are kind of new to this party. They are fiery though as a team. Like there is an identity there when you watch this team. It's almost like dating the polar opposite of what they were a few years ago, where you felt like
Right.
nobody on that team that was getting paid was ever on the field. Now these guys, I mean,
I was
Antonacci
there.
gets hit by a pitch every other 5 seconds. Yeah, you were there. You see, so you watch a White Sox game
Yeah.
this year, and you watch it when you were over there, and you're like, they completely just gutted it and started with guys that are going to die to be on the field every day.
And it carries over, as you mentioned, list to the comments is whether you're on the field or not, we're gonna be high energy. And as you mentioned, sometimes you bring that high energy, and what it was sometimes there's gonna be some people that are gonna match that energy, and you just better be prepared for that energy to be matched. And time will tell.
Yeah, for Detroit. So Mike Petriello just tweeted this an hour ago. Kratz, best record in the American League this month. And it's June 22nd, so we're a few weeks in. Second most homers in baseball during this month, second lowest ERA. And now this is perfect test mode here. 6 of their next 10 come against the Yankees. A Yankees team without Judge, but still a good Yankees team. So you get to face some good competition here. Not that the White Sox were bad competition. The White Sox have played well this year, but it's not a cupcake schedule coming up for this team.
Yes, 100% test. And they started it off on the right foot. They really did, because you're not going to face better competition in the American League. Unfortunately, that's just, hey, you got to beat who you play. And the White Sox have been playing well. They went in and took 2 or 3 from them. The Yankees just lost 2 or 3. So you say, okay, this is a time we gotta pounce on this. We have to. You have to keep hitting. If they're not gonna hit, they got to hit dingers like they are in June.
Mm-hmm. Did you guys see there's been a bunch of pinch hitting articles about the Tigers and how that's been a big part of their game over the past few years. And this year, they're one of the worst teams with pinch hitters, right? It's starting to backfire and guys have gotten cold. Like Jahmai Jones has been one of those guys who's popped up in games, mid-game, late. And one of the, what was it, Saturday, I think? He's mid-game replacing Kerry Carpenter, and he strikes out, and it put him in I think he had been in an 0 for 21, snapped it, and then I think with that strikeout, he was still like 1 for his last 23. So he was getting booed heavily. Fans are just sick of that strategy when it's not working, and here's what he said about it.
Yeah, I think that's the first time in my career I've been booed by an entire stadium, and I feel like fans forget that we're trying just as hard, I promise. But obviously it's a bad feeling. You never want to get booed by your home fans. But at the end of the day, I can't get wrapped up in that. Obviously, if I got wrapped up in it, I would have not been able to do what I did my last at-bat. I would have been worrying about, if the fans are going to boo me again. But, hopefully I start turning it on so they can forgive me. But no, I mean, it's just part of it. Obviously, I know that the entire city wants us to win. They want us to be good. They know how good we can be as a team. And, obviously we want to do that too. So I feel for them. I really do. But nobody takes it harder than we do. So we're just trying to do everything we can to put together good ABs, good results. And right now, obviously, I've had some sparing results, and it's been big moments where I've been put into the game, and obviously I want to contribute. So just trying to do everything I can to get back into that rhythm and keep going.
Good attitude, but yeah, it can be tough when you're struggling, and then they keep putting you in these big moments. I mean, Kerry Carpenter is a dude there, and you replace him mid-game. Like, they stick to their process, but that's a tough process to take someone like that out. I get what they've been doing for a long time now with the platooning, but it also can stunt development. We've gone over that quite a bit too, Josh, where, constantly guys are looking, knowing, lefty's going to come in the game. I'm going to get taken out. I'm only going to get half my at-bats today.
I know how he feels. I've been there, and especially guys that aren't used to pinch hitting. But then you mentioned pinch hitting for Kerry Carpenter, and yes, he might have gotten booed, but some of those boos aren't necessarily directed just at him. They booed after he struck out. A lot of it is probably booing the manager too. Like, why do we keep doing this? But you mentioned his struggles when you don't play every day, and then you're being thrown in there to pinch hit against some of the best arms out the bullpen. I mean, it's a tough situation. Not as you mentioned, you heard him say he's trying, but he had a good attitude about it because he knows every time he steps up there, he has confidence in himself. Just hasn't gotten the results, but that's not easy. I think 2012, I think I was like 3 for 23 pinch hitting. So, and that was just pinch hitting. So when you mentioned, and I was pinch hitting at times where, oh, go pinch hit for Garrett Jones, go pinch hit for Pedro because they brung a lefty, and it's like, okay. And so I've been in those shoes. So to hear him say that's like, yeah, I want my opportunity, but then you strike out, you might hear boos, but it's like, you know what? Hey, you got to shake that off because baseball is a short-term memory game. And as he said, he wouldn't have been able to do what he did his next at bat if he was worrying about being booed. But it's definitely tough. But it also shows that when you got guys in a lineup, trust them to do what they do. And make these moves when it makes sense. Just because they bring a guy out the pen in the 6 or 7 doesn't mean you have to make that move because it's a lot easier for guys that are already in the flow of the game to hit than bring somebody off the bench cold.
Yeah, and then if you want Kerry later, right? And I mean, you're going to have lefties and righties mixing up for half the game with the bullpen. So I get it sometimes, and in the postseason, it's worked for them at times, but it's not working for them this year. Anyway, last thought on this one: Dylan Dingler, do not pinch hit for him. 18 homers. He had another clutch knock for them in the walk-off too. He's been freaking awesome from the catcher position for Detroit, keeping him in games. All right, when we swing back, we can ask Brandon Marsh about the platoon question, but we'll also ask him about how he's thriving this year in Philly. Support for today's episode comes from Square, and they've got big news. During Square's biannual releases event, they launched a wave of innovative new tools to help local businesses run faster, smarter, and more profitably. Square is awesome around Orlando, where AJ and I live. We go to the farmers markets around town. I go to the one near Lake Eola. It's awesome. I use Square to pay with my phone. I get the receipt right away. It's great.
And so many businesses, not just small businesses, use this. So many restaurants and businesses I walk into, not only in Orlando, but all over the country, have these, and you just use your credit card, pops out a receipt, emails it right to you. It's so fast, it's so efficient, it's so hassle-free. It's one of the great things that you have going.
Square launched its most powerful tools yet, designed to give local businesses a competitive edge without the complexity. If you're ready to sell smarter, run faster, and stress less right now, you can get up to $200 off Square hardware at square.com/go/foul. That's square.com/go/FOUL. Run your business smarter with Square. Get started today.
Hey, we're a couple minutes away from TV Crowd joining us, and then we'll talk to Brandon Marsh. Kratz, fun weekend for the Philly offense. Bryce Harper had a cycle in the 5th inning. Kyle Schwarber has 29 homers. He's on pace for 61.
Is that good? The fact that his last 3 home runs, I know he had 3 home run game, 2 of them in 1 inning were to the second deck. Jay, hey, you know, anybody makes the second or third deck in Philly, like it's hot and the ball's traveling. And then again yesterday, Sunday night, he made it to the second deck again. Like this team, if this team's offense can stick to it, sky's the limit because their starting pitching has been ridiculous.
Yeah, they're definitely going to be a problem because starting pitching one we know can help, but if they swinging it as well, I mean, they got a lineup that's built to swing it. So that's icing on the cake if they continue doing that. They got off to a rough start, but head in the right direction.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Offense clicking with the big boys, and that includes Brandon Marsh. If anyone has questions for him while we're chatting, I'll check them out in the live chat on YouTube. So get ready for those. Brandon Marsh coming up in like 30 seconds. Hey, we're excited to have Brandon Marsh joining us back on Foul Territory. Brandon, great to have you on the show. Yeah, we made it.
Thank you guys for having me, man. So I'm in
My dog.
I'm in Rosie's office, so apologize for anything in the back.
Tell Rosie I said what up.
Yeah, he told me to tell you what's up, Jay. Hey, how's everybody doing, man? Good to see you guys.
You too, bro. Man, appreciate you coming on.
Oh, wait, hold on. Of course. Is my connection bad, or is that just my screen?
No, I think
you're good. I think you're smooth, Brandon. I think we're good. We'll give it a go for 10 minutes
Okay,
here.
sweet.
Kratz, you want to kick it off? Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah, 100%. Don't tell Rosie I said hi, okay? So make sure he gets that message from me, all right? So
I got you.
look, I can't when I was with when you got traded for Logan O'Hoppe and you came over, I remember talking to you.
Yeah.
I was on the radio broadcast, and people were like, well, this guy's going to be able to do this. How satisfying is this season so far, knowing that you have been this guy, and now all of a sudden people are getting to see it on a night in and night out basis?
Yeah, it's awesome. I get to learn from the best of the best day in and day out here. I'm super blessed to be in this clubhouse with these group of guys that I get to learn from. Just a really veteran led club, and they show me how to essentially be a pro in the best way possible. And I try to follow in their footsteps. Guys like Jahmai as well. Had the pleasure to play with him, and love that time. And I've been put in a really good situation with a lot of good dudes in front of me that for me to learn from. So yeah, it's been a heck of a ride and a lot of fun.
I'm gonna come at you, B. Obviously, I get this question a lot, man. Good to see you. And obviously,
to see you too,
people
man.
ask me outside of Pittsburgh, man. Like, you got some good friends. Who was one guy that you saw that might have been underrated, or one of your favorite teammates? And you're always one of the first names I come up with. One, I don't know if you remember, but from one of the first days we met in spring training, we in the weight room, we vibe in the young Dolph, and I go, "Oh, you a young Dolph fan?" And we kind of link up there, and then from that point on, as spring training goes on, I remember telling you like, bro, I've watched enough baseball to tell like, man, you can play, you can do a lot of things, you just haven't been given the opportunity to. And obviously, you're getting a chance to face lefties this year and do some things that might have necessarily been taken away from you. Is that something that you worked on in the off season, hitting lefties, or is that just something that you was like, man, I'm just waiting to get my opportunity? Because I know how you rock. We've had this conversation. You play hard, like you play with your hair on fire. Like, you know what I'm saying? I understand that. But
Yeah,
like
yeah,
with that preparation, is that something that's just like, man, I just got to stay ready? And I know K Long's a lefty. Is that something that
yep,
he's been in there with you? You know what I mean? I'm thinking,
yeah, for sure. Great question. I think it's I think it's just a matter of reps and repetition. Experience. You know, like you said, my first 4 years being up here in the big leagues, it's been a lot of matchup based stuff, which I think is part of the learning curve and part of me just learning the ins and outs of each day, routine preparation, learning how to come off the bench, learning how to start, and I think for me going through all of that, all of those ups and downs the last couple of years, I think it's really helped me be the best version of myself this year. And definitely it's not me. It's like I said earlier, it's all the guys in this locker room, and they do a tremendous job with keeping me ready, and I try to do the same for them. But yeah, this offseason really worked on maybe just a little bit more angle, just really trying to keep the same swing that I do against right-handed pitching, and it's easier said than done, but it's been going this year, and we just gotta keep taking it day by day, the good, the bad, and the ugly. It's forgotten about, and when you show up again the next day, you gotta do it again. So yeah, just trying to trust and believe in myself, and have that self-confidence that I feel like not, and I feel this coming from the humble part of my heart, but I'm supposed to be here. It's just from all the work that we've done behind the scenes, and stuff like that. So I think, just to answer your question, Jay, it's just a bunch of reps, and me watching other guys go through it, and really just trying to learn from them.
no, I
Marcia, one
definitely
thing I
love
want to
hearing that. Sorry. I was just saying, love hearing that. And just to add to that, I know I told you to believe it when we're in the weight room, and I know you got it tatted on you. And it's nice to see that
Yes,
you
sir.
believe in those thoughts, man. That's not saying I'm
Yes,
being
sir. I don't
you
know if
are,
you can see it, but
but
yes,
yeah, when
sir.
you
It's
said
right
the
there.
humble part
Always.
of you, I'm like, well, we talked about believing it, and it's nice to see you continuing to believe that.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Marcia, you said you talked about K Long a little bit, and earlier in the season, he said something when you guys were struggling against lefties. He said, "Well, we don't have a left-handed BP pitcher because he had surgery." How much does that?
Mhm.
How much does that actually affect you guys as lefties?
I feel like it may vary just from guy to guy, but me personally, I feel like I can get some good work off the machine, and just create that angle, and just for whoever we're facing that night. But I know a lot of guys love to hit BP when the lefty's throwing, and it could affect the guy, could affect the individual. But I feel like with me, I'm not a real big BP guy. So I love to shag and do all that and watch ball flight and stuff. But I do a bunch of my work in the cage. And but I know us, we did get a guy, we did get a left-handed BP thrower, and he's awesome, and he's been helping us out a lot. And Kevin's rehabbing that shoulder, getting it back. So it's just a matter of time before you see K Long throwing again.
Tell K Long to stay off the training table. That's for the players. You can't go in there getting massages. So he's got to do his stuff. He's got to do his stuff in the cage. That's what. But hey, talk about two lefties that just absolutely went off at home. Did Schwarber and Harper, do they need to have more Fox and Netflix games? Is that what it is? Like the lights got a little bit brighter and these dudes are hitting cycles. Talk about what both those dudes did the last two nights.
Oh man, just starting with Hart, man, the cycle. Just I'm on deck watching them from like the best place from the best spot in the whole yard. I get to watch right from on deck, and I mean, it was just at bat after at bat, pitch after pitch. He was on everything. You felt like every swing he took was dangerous, and that's that's great for us. So we love that, and he's going to keep doing his thing. He's locked, he's dialed, and I couldn't be more happy for him hitting for the cycle, especially at home against the Mets. You can't really script it up any better. So that hats off to Harp, and for Schwarber having the 3-homer game against pretty tough matchups. And then having the homer yesterday open it up for us. Those two guys at the front of our order just, setting the tone for us, and Trey as well. Trey had a really good game as well. So it's a blessing to have those 3 guys start the game off for us, and then the rest of the crew do their thing after. But those guys really took it upon themselves and put us in a really good situation after that Mets series. It's a really good team over there, and they got a lot of good dudes over there. So it was a big series for us to win, especially at home. And it was definitely front run by Kyle and Hart.
Yeah, definitely the energy there is something that you can feel through the screen.
Oh,
But
man.
I do want to ask you, because when you first got traded, when we were playing together, you were playing majority center field. How has that been with you having to adjust to left field a little bit? Obviously, I know center field you can bounce around, but how's that adjustment been playing left field? Do you feel like it's a situation that's kind of helped you also because like where you're slotted and you can settle in just overall? Or
Yeah, I feel like I'm kind of like a chameleon out there in the outfield. I just want to be out there. I just want to find some way somehow to get out there and get on the field. But we got Jay Craw and D Hill who go and get it out there. So we got some of the best to do it out there. And we had Adolis in right, and it really, really hurt us losing him. And all of our thoughts and all of our prayers for speedy recovery are all with him from us. But it's we're making do with what we have, and we have a really, really good team still. And it's we got dudes in center field that go and get it, and Rincones and I in the corner, we and Sosa as well as of late. We play our role to the best of our ability, and just let those guys in center field really go be gazelles and just go out there and just flat out go get it. Me personally, I know I love center field because it's a lot of true reads. You don't have a lot of the hooks and fades and all that, but definitely over the last two or 3 years playing a lot of left field has gotten a lot more used to it. And I played right field in high school my whole career, so I love the corners, but center field definitely, as an outfielder, having that priority just to go get it. You're the captain out there. You always want to be in center field, but we got dudes that do a tremendous job and handle the job tremendously. So it's I'm just thankful to be out there with those guys, and and I'm learning from guys like Crawford, guys like Derek, and all the other guys out there that played really well in the field. And so I'm trying to sharpen my knife from them, and vice versa. So it's a good thing we have going on over here.
All right. Well, I saw you start in right field the other night. I think it was against the Mets, first game of the series against the Mets. Am I right?
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yeah.
How much of a change is that? Because especially in that game, the sun's a little bit different in right field. That ball changes.
Yeah.
Because the reason I'm asking you is it seems like you might be starting one of those 3 spots in the All-Star game, which is going to be in Philly. But the new ballot's out. You're number 2 in voting right now. You were 3rd. Now you're number 2. So that's just updated. But how much of a change, or how tough is that? How tough is that getting pushed out to right field and reading those balls differently off the bat?
I don't look at it as tough. I look at it as just like another opportunity for me to be on the field with those guys that, like I said, the veteran led team that I've looked up to for my whole career. So it's if it's right field, that's a great, it's a short run at home. So you just have to take 10 steps and you're already out there. But I think just being out there with the lineup that we have is a blessing. And for sure playing right, probably one of the first times since high school. It is difficult, but I take a lot of pride in my defensive work. And we have Paco. He's the best, man. So he makes sure that we're all ready to go, and we're not too worried when Paco's in charge. So we do a lot of work, and he's getting me ready to play left, center, right, whatever the team needs me to do that night.
Right, Marshy. I mean, you just heard that you're 2nd in voting. What kind of message do you have for the fans? Because part of this is politicking, and half this time you've been on, you've been like, oh, the other guys. No, this is a Brandon Marsh question. They are voting for Brandon Marsh. What kind of message you have for the fans?
I just wanted to thank each and every one of them. This is for a personal goal for me, for sure. Like growing up, wanting to play in the big leagues, you check that off the list, and I'm getting chills right now just talking about this stuff, man. But and obviously for a personal goal, you always want to be an all-star because you play with the AL and NL all-star teams on the show when you're growing up. So it's we still got a lot more work to do, and a lot more grinding to do. But I am forever thankful for each and every vote that I've gotten this year. And from the bottom of my heart, it means the world to me, my family, and everyone that's rocking with me. So it's a blessing to wear this P across my chest and play for these really, 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 just for lack of better terms, just perfect fans. They're just riding for us, having our back, and it only just makes me want to play better for them, and just forever thankful for all the help and support that I've gotten this year.
Oh, for sure, man. And hearing your story obviously gives me chills. I can resonate with that, given you said something earlier where you said, I'm just being humble, but this is where I belong. And I remember telling that to the Pirates president, Frank Coonelly, one of the first times I got recalled my rookie season. I didn't even know who he was. He's like, Josh, great to see you back. Not trying to be funny. He's like, Josh, great to see you back. And I'm just coming back from AAA. I'm like, yeah, this is where I belong. And he stopped, suited up. He goes, I like that. But, the
For sure.
confidence that you carry, the confidence that I carry, it's one of the reasons kind of got together. It's like, dang, man, like we drew a lot of similarities. But hearing you talk that, but just gave me chills because it's not anything that you say, oh, I want to be an all-star. You just want the opportunity to go out there to play, to help your team win every night.
Most definitely.
And it's nice to see you get the recognition for something that I saw a couple of years ago when I told you, like, bro, you're a gamer. You do a lot of things that are intangible. But what would it mean? I know we've asked about the all-star, but what would it mean to have your first one be in Philly? Like, you know what I mean? Mine was, I had to go to Minnesota. It's like, man, you get an opportunity to play in front of the home fans, which is what you do every night. But like, man, what would that mean?
Yeah, dude. I mean, I'm telling you right now, I got chills all over my whole body right now. And I know I said it before. It's honestly crazy to even think about, man. Just, from the start of my career to this year, it's like, it feels like a dream. And it feels like it's not real at times. But, I think this is just a credit to all the work that myself and my whole supporting staff, from the hitting coaches to the outfield, base running, and all my teammates. And it's, I couldn't do any of this without them. But, what it would mean for me, especially to play at home, I mean, dude, there really isn't nothing better. The only thing that would be better is win a World Series, most definitely. But, being able to be in the All-Star game and play in front of your home crowd that pulls for you day in and day out and each night, it really feels like a dream. And I'm really excited for the future. But like I said, a lot more work needs to be put in, and we have a lot more room to grow and to get to where we want to be, especially for me personally. But it's been a heck of a ride this year. And yeah, playing the All-Star game at home, it would be a dream come true, and I'm forever thankful and grateful for it.
Well, you
Nah,
got my
Marshy, I
vote,
got
and
two.
everybody else, go give them one.
Love that. Marshy, I got two for you. One's weird, and one's just normal. First, the weird one, because I know you like to get a little weird sometimes. Have you seen Zach Wheeler's rib that he got taken out and he kept?
To be honest, no, because that stuff creeps me out. It's just not my thing. I know it's been talked about plenty of times, but I have not personally seen it myself, and I think I would like for it to stay that way.
Okay. So you like things getting weird, but you're not going to go that weird. I get that. And the last question is, I'm taking my son down to Georgia right now for the WWBAs into your home country there in Georgia. Where do I need to go when I'm close to what place to eat?
Where are you going to be at? Close to where?
We're all the WWBAs. It's the East Cobb. It's the East Cobb tournament that's down there. So we're all around Atlanta area. So do I need to head to a certain place to get a Marshy special?
To be honest, man, I feel like you got to go back to where my mom lives at over in Beaufort and Gwinnett, a little north of Cobb County and all that. But there's a spot called Philly Wings and Bistro that, dude, you can close your eyes and point and pick on the order, and you're gonna be satisfied with it. Another one, American Deli. I think they make some of the best wings over in my hometown. So, and it's just it's right down the road from my mom's house. So, I think if you go to those two joints, you'll be leaving a happy man.
Appreciate it.
All right, Kratz, get on that. Brandon, thank you so much. Great to catch up with you. Yeah, and we're following the boating there and the season. It's been awesome. Appreciate the time. Keep doing your thing, and hopefully we'll see you in a few weeks in Philly for the All-Star game.
Hey, man, thank you guys. Appreciate you guys having me on. Pleasure to see all you guys again, Jay. Wish you nothing but the best, man, and hope the family's good, man. Happy late Father's Day to all you guys, too.
Appreciate it, bro.
Appreciate you a lot.
Good.
Thank you, Brandon. Yeah, both the bottom of the screen right now is just full of the great beard flow. I love it. I love it a lot. Thank you, Brandon. Good luck, man. Talk soon.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. You guys have a good one.
It would have been fun to see Max Clark make his debut in 2026. It still may happen, don't get me wrong, but that felt like somewhat of a certainty, somewhat. And now I don't know. I just don't get the vibe that that's as much on the table as it was. So Max Clark, and especially given the injuries and all that stuff, perhaps being a spark plug in 2026. Hold on, let go, or hold on loosely.
In terms of being a spark plug in 2026,
so it's not just debuting. Like,
yeah, it depends on how you define it. I am maybe we can go holding on loosely. Max has done some things a little better lately. He has 3 homers in June. I do believe one was off a position player. He's only hitting 244, but the OPS is up 802. He's been elevating the ball a little bit more, it would seem, although he has no doubles so far this month. So I'm just going to stop looking at these stats before I talk myself out of it. In the best version of this year's Tigers would be in first place right now, and Max Clark would be killing it in Toledo, and you'd be just waiting to bring him up if you hadn't brought him up already as an injury replacement. Maybe he'd solve all your center field woes, and you were comfortable and confident calling him up, burning his rookie eligibility, whatever, because you thought you were going to win the World Series and you thought he could be a real spark. The more likely scenario now is that the Tigers sell everybody at the deadline. In the second half, you're seeing a lot of Hao-Yu Lee and Max Anderson and maybe Max Clark as well. I do think if the Tigers are out of it, they're almost more incentivized to try to hold on to his rookie eligibility. There's just less urgency in trying to get him to the big leagues. But if you get to the end of August, early September, it would still be starting a service clock. But assuming Max continues to make some progress, I think you'd want to see him in the big leagues this year. Maybe too late for it to matter in the standings. I don't know. Maybe it won't be. Maybe there's a 2024 run waiting. Maybe they sell everyone and then Max Clark is the ultimate spark plug.
BetMGM Locks. I'm not mad, Kratz. It's just that, we would have had another FT parlay heater smasher from Friday that would have been massive. 3 out of 4 of us hit, but we still love you.
I blew it. I mean, Claude accidentally wrote it down as under 8. That just shows Claude knows everything. She knows everything. And if I would have not corrected her, then we would have hit, and we would have been cashing out big time. It was like 1,600 too for that parlay, but it's okay. I apologize, Claude. It's my fault.
These were all individual bets too. So my lock hit, Todd's hit, Pap's hit, and he's talking about producer lady, not the AI friend that's out there. Money bags for you. There's a lot of green on the screen. Kratz, you start us off. Wow, you got up to 600 plus already in that bank account.
606 in your hymn book. Praise God from whom all blessings flow. Yeah, 606. I added 70 also because if you want to follow my World Cup picks, I'm hitting big on the World Cup picks so far, so that helped a lot. But I'm going to go run line with the Rays. Drew Rasmussen is on the hill. He's been lights out the last few, and they are a lights out team against the Royals in Tampa. I got the run line. It's paying plus 110.
Nice. Okay. I'll go over on a category that I often like to travel to, which is Anaheim. Sometimes that offense can explode, and then sometimes that bullpen can implode. I think the Orioles are playing ball. They're really feeling themselves right now after that series against the Dodgers. We didn't really touch on it in the show, but man, that was a good output from Baltimore. I've believed in this offense since the start of the year, and I think they'll keep it cranking. Pitching matchup. You do have Bradish on the other side, but I think the Angels can get to him a little bit. And it's the how do you say the name for the other dude? Hold on.
Oh, Algieri.
Yeah, Aldegari, Sam Aldegari.
Yeah.
So I think the O's are going to be swinging early and often and get some runs on the board out in Anaheim. There's been a lot of offense out there. This one's set at 9. I'm still going to take the over there. So we'll see if that hits, and that is running myself at minus 105. So almost even money on that one. I'll go 105 to win 100. Jay, hey.
All right, I'm gonna head to the Yankees Tigers game. That matchup is Cole versus Framber Valdez, and I'm gonna go with the Yankees money line. One, my boy Garrett's on the mound. It's kind of hard to go against a former teammate of mine, but seeing he's coming back, obviously been back just shortly off the injured list. I know Garrett, so I'm expecting him to go in, and especially not having Judge and some guys. Garrett's going to take the ball and do what Garrett does in my eyes. So I'm taking the Yankees money line. I'll put down 135 to win 100.
Nice, very good. I like it. Yeah, good matchup tonight with the Yankees and Cole against Framber. Hey, so there's your locks of the day for us 3. Good luck if you're going that direction this evening. And if you are going that direction in the BetMGM app, swing for the fences, free to play game. You know about it. It's a little mini video game tied to the BetMGM app where you can get yourself bonuses or boost tokens depending on if you get a knock, gambling problem, or concern. There's help. Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
And Dan, like, if I want to be a smitten fan, I can say, what a heroic quote from Byron Buxton, reaffirming his love to the organization. If I want to be cynical, I can say, of course you'd say that. Like, you always got to say the right thing until the moment comes when it's not, when the tides turn or whatever. But Dan, you were the one in the room. Curious how the interview came together and what your impressions were of his comments.
2 questions, 65-second interview. Seriously, that was all it took. I went up to him and I get the cynic part. Byron, last year when we were talking about all this, that where he comes from, you're only as good as your word, and your word means everything. So just know that it comes from a place of passion. I went up and said, look, it feels like the vibes in this clubhouse are really good right now, and it's felt that way even when you guys were down all year. And he said, like, a whole bunch of stuff about all the positives that have been coming from it. And this is before they go out and close out the sweep and win 9-3 and get back to 4 games under 500. So it was like, hey, things seem good here. And every time the Twins get on a little roll, Buck seems very excited. Like, you can tell how fired up he is about this. And I've just watched this go on for a month plus, basically. It really stood out in Chicago when they got their one win in that series against the White Sox. Buck was fired up as I'd seen him in weeks at that point. So I was like, hey, look, I know you guys know about this, but the trade lists have started to come out. And yesterday there was one, and you were the number 2 trade target, and Joe was number 4. And Byron basically stopped me mid-question. He's like, I don't give an F. And then gave that quote. And it was just a smile on his face. He's like, I'm a twin. And they said, and he starts walking away. He's like, and it was just funny because, I mean, I've been here through a lot of this with him.
Oh, this is an Erik Kratz special for Slap. Look at what Ken Rosenthal put out there. It's a 31-year-old getting a call up to the show. The name is Julian Garcia, a 10th round pick in 2016, making his major league debut for the Reds at AAA. He earned it, 3.03 ERA, punching out 13.6 per 9. Kratz, not many people can speak to this. You can. Not hearing you, bud.
That's on
There you
me.
go.
There we go.
I hit the unmute button. Now you can hear me. Getting called up at 31 years old is not the way you drew it up. But you know what? You're there now. So go ahead and just spend 10 years there and retire as a 41-year-old. That's the way to do it, Julian.
That's what he did. That's what he did. It's very impressive. So we're excited about it. Yeah, he was released by the Phillies after the 2022 season, then indie ball, then AA, eventually back up to here for the first time.
That's a grinder. That's a grinder.
All right, we got 3 minutes here. Josh has been great. Hope you're having fun, man. And then we'll lead up to the 3 o'clock hour. Many of you that like to watch the Dodgers, who we really didn't talk about much on this show, Dodgers Territory is live. One of 25-ish shows that cover one particular team on the FT network. Bucko Territory. If you're liking what you're hearing from Josh, you get much more of him there. Let's show this tweet from Cyrus, one of my favorite baseball nerds. And over the weekend, he put this out there. I figured you'd like this, Kratz. So we're going to show you the drag by date on all 4-seam fastballs. He said, that's what we're showing you on the screen. He said, if it seems like there's been more offense recently, there has. And well, there's this drag on the ball currently lower than any year other than 2019 when baseball broke all kinds of home run records. He said, super weird considering MLB owns the ball maker and has humidors in every ballpark.
Whoa, no way. Super weird. Must be a coincidence. Wait, what was the other year that there was low drag on the ball? Oh, 2019. And it was proven that these balls were made differently. Wait, Major League Baseball owns the ball maker, and yet we can't get one uniform baseball? I love conspiracies.
What was it, Acuna the other day, like in the dugout, like with a ball like this? I mean,
Oh, no. Jay, hey, baseball players wouldn't know. They're just
no,
big buffoons. They're big dummies.
I think a BP ball might have found its way. That's what he was looking at.
Oh, right. Wait. There's different baseballs, like BP balls or home run derby balls? Jay, hey, you must be an idiot because you don't wear a backwards hat, because only idiots wear backwards hats.
I was just merely speculating. I don't know if there are different. Sometimes some of them say practice. Maybe they don't. I don't know.
Hey, when we play for the Pirates, I know we're running out of time. When we play for the Pirates, the Pirates were never buying the good BP balls, and you would hit them things, and they'd be like, They
Came
wouldn't
from
go
Pirate City.
anywhere. They get in the game. The ball's lost. Pirate City.
That's good. Wait,
MLB
last thing
simply
here.
wrong.
So guys, people want to know, like, yes, the baseballs clearly are getting built differently year to year. Do you think that there's conspiracy theory deep enough to say, hey, there's people sitting in a room, like, let's tweak the specs? Or do you think that there's just massive inconsistencies because of the way that it's built? You think the option A is going on, Kratz? They're sitting in a room and they're like, hey, how are we going to tweak the baseball this year?
This is a whole conspiracy theory. You know me and my conspiracy theories. Hey, pitching starts to get too expensive. Let's change the ball to be a little. Oh, hitting starts to get a little expensive. Let's make the ball a little bit better for pitchers. Of course, yes. You're talking about massive sample sizes that can change and swing how players are paid. Yes, there's a huge, huge difference.
That's why I love you. I love a good conspiracy theory. He's full of them, Josh. It's fun. I hope you had fun, dude. It was great. There actually is no Dodgers territory live. They're going to be on post-game later after their matchup. So right now, you can just enjoy life or watch us back. Actually, Fair Territory was on this morning, so make sure you check out that show. Josh, you have fun, man?
Oh, I had a blast, man. Appreciate y'all having me on.
Great to have you, dude. We'll see you on Bucko again soon. We'll see everyone else tomorrow.